the first Justice League season 1 right after this. So on to Cloverfield. Now, Cloverfield I saw when I saw it actually quite a while ago. For some reason I got back into it. I don't know what it was, but when this movie came out, I didn't know anything about it because I never saw much of the trailers. I never saw I never heard anything about it. None of my friends saw it and said it was good. Like nobody I knew knew it for some reason. It was just it's just how it went. I don't know. But when it came out on DVD, I kind of heard a little bit about this. It's supposed to be kind of good, I think. I got good reviews. So or got mixed reviews, I guess. But so I rented it, and me and my sister and my mom watched it. And this was beginning of the year, maybe, not even. And we watched it, and I had no idea what it was about. I didn't know it was about a monster. I didn't know it was one of those camera type deals, like where it's just one camera. I didn't know, anything about it. Any part of the story I didn't know. And I just thought, I thought it was a thriller because that's all I knew. So, and the Statue of Liberty's head gets cut off. That's all I knew. But, so I started watching it, and I didn't know it was one of those camera things. So at first when they were around at the party, filming around, I just thought, oh, this must be like the first part of the movie where it shows like them for some reason through a camera. That's kind of cool. Then it kind of just after a while I assumed, I was like, oh, this might be a whole movie of just camera. So I kept assuming that. And when it got to the part in this party scene where there's that big bang, and then when all the shit starts happening where, they go and the lights go out, and they go out on the street, and they see just these explosions, and they see all this stuff, and they're running around. It was the first time I've ever seen a movie and got scared of it. I'm usually not very scared of movies, like horror movies or anything. No, if ever I'm scared, it's not a horror movie, and it's not supposed to be scary. But this actually was the first time I was actually like, oh my god, this is crazy. I was like, my heart started beating fast, and my adrenaline went up for some reason, and I started sweating a little bit, and I was just watching a movie. That's all I was doing. But I really was enjoying it. But anyways, just this entire movie was a big shock to me, and probably one of the most shocking parts. I wasn't really shocked when his brother died on the bridge. This spoilers coming up. I'm sorry. But anyways, when he died on the bridge, I wasn't really that shocked at it because I didn't know him as well. But going through the movie, one of my favorite characters was Marlena. I think that was her name, something with an M. And when she explodes, I was like, oh my god, she died. She's a main character. She's been through this entire thing, and she explodes and dies. And then that's when my sister said, well, if you think about it, at the beginning of the film, it said that they found this, so you have to assume something happened to each of them. So, I mean, she said I'm not saying all of them die, but at the beginning of the movie, it just said that they recovered the footage. So I was like, oh my god. So then after that, there was just, like, when HUD gets torn in half from the monster, and the monster's face-to-face with him, that was really suspenseful, and, all that stuff. And I thought it was really good. I think some reasons why people don't like this movie is because they learn too much about it. I think to make this movie the best experience, you have to know nothing about it. You don't want to know any spoilers. This is the one movie, if you know anything about it, it's not as thrilling. So, I mean, for me, I really enjoyed it just because of that. And, yeah, I was really surprised and shocked of what they did. And I think the reason why it's so scary to me is because it's so surreal. Like, it could happen. I mean, not a monster crashing probably, but something like that could happen. I could be in a city sometime and some big explosion could happen in the middle of the city, and stuff like that could happen, and it's scary. You could think there's always that person that thinks in life, now this day is probably going to be regular, but what if something different happened? What if for some reason, what if finally the earth gave out or something like that? Sometimes I walk around thinking that. I'll just be walking around in a day and it'll be normal. I'll be like, I wonder if there'll just be a day I'll just be walking around and something bad will happen that just major. But that's kind of what makes it so frightening. It's not really like jump out scary, it's just a thriller. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I suggest you see it. If you know everything about it, you can still see it, but you may not enjoy it as much for the first time as you did. And not knowing what it was that was attacking the city was even better, because I didn't know it was a monster until finally they showed it like on the news clips of it running around. I was like, oh my god, it's a monster. I had no idea what it was, and I thought that was really cool. And I think J.J. Abrams himself said that he wanted to make a monster movie like Godzilla, where we have our own monster. I mean, he's not talking about King Kong, but he says we have it. He said the U.S. hasn't really gone into that type of franchise, so he tried doing that, and he did it a different way to make it even scarier. So I thought it all worked out great. I'm really hoping there's a sequel. They keep mentioning they might make a sequel. I'm really hoping there is. A couple hints. They said that on the bridge, HUD films this other guy filming for just a few split seconds, and he said it's possible he might have it take from that guy's perspective, and he might know more, and it might show more and explain more. And there's also parts in the movie. I think my suggestion is either do that, but if you don't do that, he was talking about changing the format to just a regular movie, which I think is actually a good idea if he does it right. I think, my opinion, if he doesn't do the other camera guy, I think it should be the aftermath of what happened. Just, straight up, just more post-apocalyptic type feel, and what they have to do, what they do to figure out, more of a mystery type, to figure out the mysteries of this monster, and to figure out why certain things and why certain that. But I'm not going to explain this whole thing, but if you look up this movie, you will find a lot of backstory to it. You will find, if you want more explanation, if you want to know where the monster comes from, and if you want to know how long it's been alive, and if you want to know some of the intentions it had, look up some of those things. Look up, for one little hint, look up Slusho, and look up just different backstories. Look up, just like type in Cloverfield backstory, or Cloverfield other things, and you'll find a lot more information than what the movie tells you, and it actually will make you want to see a sequel more, to see some of the stuff get played out more. So I think it's great. I really enjoyed it. I never saw the Blair Witch Project. I just never have. But I think this is good, so I might see Blair Witch Project. I really enjoyed this movie, though, so I really suggest you go and you see it.